Hey, second grade. Today is the day we take our math chapter 11 practice test. So, the whole point of this is not to make you do it on your own and take a grade on it for your report card. It is to learn and remember what chapter 11 was all about. So, I'm going to go through this with you. Go ahead and get a numbered paper, line paper, blank paper, or if you've printed this out, that's great too. We're going to read it together, talk about it together, and you can write your answers down. So let's take a look at number 1. And please feel free to take a break and pause it if you need to. It's pretty long. Also, if I'm going too fast, please give yourself your own think time. Pause me, think through it, draw it out, whatever you need to do. I don't want to interrupt your thinking process. That's the last thing I would want to do. So, I might go a little quickly for some of you. Please pause it. I know I have to hear things twice sometimes. I need to take a little longer to process, and that's okay. We all learn differently. So, we're going to choose the correct answer, and if you're writing it on blank paper, you're going to write out the answer. Number 1, Kay draws a house. What is the shape of Kay's drawing? So, here's the house she drew. And what is this shape? Is it a triangle? Well, that means there needs to be 3 sides. And there's more than 3 sides. Is it a quadrilateral? Quad means 4, so I don't think so. Is it a pentagon? Let me think. Penta means 5. That's a 5-sided shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's it, but let me make sure. A hexagon means 6. A hexa means 6. So let's make sure it's not 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and write or fill in the bubble next to the correct answer for number 1. If you chose pentagon, you are correct. Penta means 5. So a 5-sided shape looks just like this house. It can look differently as well, but as long as it's got 5 sides, it is a pentagon. All right, number 2, which shape has 4 sides and 4 vertices? Let's review what sides are. Sides are along the shape, like this side. A vertices is where the 2 sides come together. Some people kind of call it a corner. So what you're looking for is which of these shapes has 4 sides and 4 vertices or corners. Go ahead and draw it out or fill in the bubble next to the correct answer. I know that this square has 4 sides and 4 vertices or 4 corners. And I can prove that by drawing or circling the vertices and drawing along, counting the sides. So your square is the answer for number 2, which is also a quadrilateral. Remember, a quadrilateral is any shape with 4 sides. Number 3, which of these shapes has fewer than 5 sides? Okay, keep in mind, fewer than 5 sides, smaller than 5 sides. Can't have 5 sides, can't have 6 sides. It's got to either have 4, 3, or 2. Go ahead and draw the shape or fill in the bubble next to the correct answer. If you chose this pentagon right here, I'm sorry, not a pentagon, a trapezoid right here. This trapezoid has 4 sides, which means it has fewer than 5 sides. Okay? This trapezoid is your correct answer. I know it's not this one because this one is a hexagon. It has 6 sides. Here's the pentagon with 5 sides we spoke of earlier. And this shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. a kind of pentagon. It's actually the shape of our Ohio State's state flag, the only state that has a flag in this shape. Mrs. Reeves taught me that. Here's number 4. Jamal used square tiles to cover this rectangle. How many square tiles did he use to cover the rectangle? I'll give you a minute to look at this. How many square tiles was used to cover this shape? I know it says it's a rectangle, but it looks very much like a square to me. All right, friends, here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 tiles were used to cover this rectangle. So 4 is your answer. You can write in a 4 for the answer for number 4, or fill in the bubble if you printed the pages. Your test will be very similar tomorrow. How many angles does this shape have? Well, let's review angles. Angles are the inside of the vertices. So here's an angle right here. Okay? A vertices is the outside corner. The angle is on the inside. Go ahead and count those up and rate the answer of how many angles this shape has. All right, friends, let's take a look together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted 6 angles. You also might know that this is a hexagon, which has 6 sides and 6 angles, and 6 vertices. So 6 is the correct answer for number 5. Let's take a look at number 6. Anna cuts a piece of ribbon into thirds like this. Remember, thirds is 3 equal parts. Gotta be equal. Which shows another way to cut the ribbon into thirds. Okay, you're going to have to kind of draw this out if you're using plain or lined paper. Which one represents a ribbon divided into thirds or partitioned into thirds in another way? All right, friends, let's look through these together. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Well, I know thirds is 3 equal parts. These are not equal and it's not divided by 3. This one has 1, 2, 3 parts. Are they equal? Yeah, they look the same. Equal is a great word for meaning the same thing. This part and this part and this part look the same. They are equal. So I think that's the answer, but let's take a look down here. This ribbon has equal parts, but there's 4 equal parts, which represents fourths. And we don't want fourths, we want thirds. So that cannot be the answer. Here, on this last shape, there are 3 parts, but they're definitely not equal. These two look equal, but this one looks way too big compared to the other two. So if you were thinking this answer right here, you would be correct. All right, let's take a look at number 7. Looks like we're looking at some solid geometry, 3-dimensional shapes. Which of these shapes is a sphere? Okay, go ahead and kind of draw your best of which one you think is a sphere. I hope you chose this circle with kind of a line around it. The dotted line represents the opposite side, or what you can't see. Okay, a sphere is the shape of a ball. So just do your best. Make a circle. I'll know what you mean. I'll know if you do a circle for sphere, it's not any of these shapes. Okay, so that's your first answer right here, which is correct for number 7. Take a look at number 8. Which of these shapes is a cone? Go ahead and look at each of these shapes. Which one is a cone? All right, well, I know this is a cube made up of 6 squares put together. This is a cylinder like a soup can. We already said this was a sphere, so here's our cone. I imagine turning it upside down and putting some ice cream in it, or the orange traffic cones that are used when there's construction going on our roads. So your answer is kind of like the top of a triangle with an oval along the bottom to draw. That is a cone. Moving on to number 9. Which shape has parts that are fourths? Okay, think about that word fourths that we learned earlier from our friend Mrs. Friesner. Fourths are 4 equal parts. So look and see which one has 4 equal parts. Draw that out. All right, I hope you said this kite-looking one down here. If you folded this, it would be right on top of each other and they would be completely equal parts. 4 equal parts represent fourths. So just draw a diamond, or what some people will say a rhombus shape, with a cross up and down and side to side, and that's your answer for number 9. Number 10, which shows a fourth of the shape shaded. Go ahead and pause me and think about that for a minute. All right, 1/4. So I know my shape has to be in 4 parts. This one is 2 parts and that one's 2 parts. That doesn't represent 4 equal parts. This one has 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm thinking it's this one. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts and 1 shaded in. That represents a fourth. 1/4, 1 part. So your answer is going to be right here at the end, filled in. And number 11, this has to do with solid geometry or 3-dimensional shapes as well. I see 2 large rectangles, 2 medium-sized rectangles, and 2 smaller rectangles. Which 3-dimensional shape has these faces? All right, I hope you wrote down rectangular prism. A rectangular prism is a lot like a cereal box. It is made up of all rectangles, or sometimes it can have 2 squares on the end, but the rest are rectangles. Similar to a cube, but a cube is made up of 6 squares. Okay, so the answer for this one is rectangular prism. Number 12, halfway through, which shape shows 3 equal parts? Go ahead and pause me, take a look at each one of these. All right, I hope you notice that these do not show equal parts at all, and this doesn't show equal parts either. The only one that shows equal parts is this circle, and it has 3 equal parts. You can see 1, 2, and 3. So your answer is going to be a circle with a really wide letter Y to represent those 3 equal parts. Just do your best to draw. I'll know exactly what you mean. It's the only circle and the only one that shows 3 equal parts. All right, number 13. Circle the name of this shape. Is it a pentagon, a hexagon, or a quadrilateral? Remember, friends, penta means 5, hex means 6, and quad means 4. All right, I hope you wrote down hexagon or circled hexagon if you printed these papers. This shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Hexagon is your answer. Number 14, how many sides and vertices does a pentagon have? We've talked a lot about this already. I want you to think about that and write your answers. All right, I hope you wrote down 5 sides and 5 vertices. A pentagon has 5 sides and 5 vertices. Number 15, circle or draw the shape that has more than 4 angles. More than 4 means it's got to have 5, 6, 7, or maybe even 8 angles. The angles are the inside of the vertices. All right, I hope you drew or circled this hexagon right here. A hexagon has 6 angles and 6 sides, which is more than the 4 angles. Trapezoid has 4, so that wouldn't work. A triangle has 3 angles, so that wouldn't work. 1, 2, and 3. And our square has 4 angles. That's not more than 4 either. Your only choice is this hexagon. Number 16. Write how many square tiles cover the rectangle. This should be pretty easy. It's just like counting in kindergarten. Go ahead and write the correct answer. All right, you're able to fit 6 1-inch tiles over top of this rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Nice job, friends. All right, number 17. How many angles does this shape have? Look for the vertices and then inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your answer is 4. There are 4 angles in that shape. All right, and number 18. Bobby has 2 square pieces of cloth that are the same size. Draw to show 2 different ways he can divide the pieces of cloth into halves. Halves have 2 equal parts. So Bobby can divide it 2 different ways. Go ahead and draw 2 squares and divide them into 2 ways. There's actually 3 different ways you can do this. All right, friends, here's one way you can go diagonal from the top corner to the bottom, opposite corner. You can go diagonal the opposite way as well. Okay. You can go right in the middle at the top, straight down. And some of you might have even put a cross in the middle, a horizontal line, which would give you 2 equal parts. Diagonal lines, horizontal and vertical lines all can be used to divide Bobby's cloth into halves. Here's a little word bank for 19 and 20. You're going to use the words in the box for questions 19 through 20. Cone, cube, and sphere. I see 3 choices, but only 2 questions, so there's going to be one we don't need to use. Number 19, what is this object? Looks like a birthday hat. Is it in the shape of a cone, a cube, or a sphere? Go ahead and write your answer. If you're writing down cone, you are correct. That birthday hat is in the shape of a cone. Next, for number 20, what shape is this object? Looks like it's a real-life object of a block. Is that what we have left? Either a cube or a sphere? I hope you're writing cube. This is a cube, a 6-faced Object, 6 square faces, top, bottom, front, back, and side to side. The answer is cube. We did not use a sphere. And here's our last page already. Number 21, write halves, thirds, or fourths to name the equal parts. All right, second grade friends, remember these math words. They were in your purple box. Halves is when you divide into 2 equal parts. Thirds is when you divide into 3 equal parts. And fourths is when you divide into 4 equal parts. Go ahead and write the correct answer for number 21. All right, second grade, I hope you wrote halves. This is a hexagon divided into halves. There is now one trapezoid here and one trapezoid of equal size there. So halves is what should be on the blank next to 21. 22, draw to show thirds and then color or shade a third of the shape. So just go ahead and draw a square if you have blank paper. And now divide it into thirds. All right, we have some options for this. So you can do 1, 2 lines from top to bottom that are vertical that will help you with thirds. Or you can do 2 lines horizontally to get thirds that way. Either way is correct. Moving down, please remember these 3 terms. Faces, the flat part of a shape. Edges, where the 2 faces will meet. So edges. And vertices are where the edges meet. In 3-dimensional shapes is like a point. So here is a vertices, here, kind of like the corners. Okay, how many faces, edges, and vertices does a cube have? Remember, you can't see everything. If you have something that is cube-shaped at home that you can hold in your hand, it will be very helpful. All right, friends, so the faces, top, bottom, front, back, side to side. There are 6 faces in a cube. Now edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then around the bottom, 9, 10, 11, 12 edges. 12 edges where the faces meet. 12 would be the correct answer for edges. Now vertices, the corners or the points where the edges come together. 1, 2, 3, 4, going down here, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices. Okay, 6, 12, 8. And for 24, our last one, we're going to draw to show fourths. Remember, 4 equal parts. Go ahead and draw a rectangle and show me one way to show me fourths. There's lots of ways. All right, friends, you can go cross, top to bottom, side to side, and then you'll have 4 little squares that way. You can do 3 horizontal lines, and those would be 4 equal parts, or 3 up and down vertical lines, which would leave you with fourths as well. Okay? All right, friends. Well, I'm very proud of you. This was a very long practice test. take a screenshot, send all the answers my way so I know you're able to study with me today, and I hope I was helpful. So you do a great job on your test tomorrow, and if you have any questions about any of these, please don't hesitate to ask and let me know. Okay, you can call me. Same, I have an app on my phone that you call the school and it comes right to me. Also, message in Dojo. Either way, I'm right here. All right, guys, see you later.